Hello everyone, welcome to Film Recap. Today we are going to see The Sorcerer's Apprentice. The movie begins in Britain in 740 AD, when three apprentices are taught the secrets and abilities of the formidable magician Merlin Horvath, Veronica, and Balthazar in order to prevail in the Sorcerer's War. Because Horvath chooses to ally with the enemy, the evil witch Morgana Le Fay one day breaks into his castle and murders Merlin. Morgana gains the ability to summon a corpse army. Even though she is late, Veronica absorbs Morgana's soul into her own body as a sacrifice for Balthazar and humanity. Since Morgana starts killing Veronica from the inside out, Balthazar imprisons them both in Grimhold, an unavoidable jail. In the end, he also imprisons Horvath inside the vase-shaped facility. As he draws his last breath, Merlin hands his dragon ring to his final apprentice, instructing him to pass it on to a prime Merlinine, Merlin's chosen heir, who is the only person capable of defeating Morgana completely. The action cuts to New York City in the year 2000, where 10-year-old Dave Stutler is taking a school field trip. He develops feelings for one of the pupils, Becky, and tries to get her to agree to be his girlfriend by sending her a brief message. After responding to it, she puts it down on the bench. Unfortunately, a strong wind causes the letter to fly away when Dave tries to pick it up. After pursuing it, he soon finds Arcana Cabana, an antique store. He is in awe of the items kept there and nearly destroys one of the antiques before Balthazar arrives and stops him. Dave says that he just happened to come up here while searching for a note. When he hears that, he hands him Merlin's dragon ring, which twirls around Dave's finger and comes to life. Dave is the prime Merlinian, he concludes. Dave tests the ring as Balthazar searches the basement for something. Each time he lifts his finger, it bumps into the wall. Before him, a Grimhold of Horvath lands. He opens it by mistake, unaware that it contains a dangerous sorcerer, and Horvath escapes. Balthazar shows there and uses his powers to force him toward the ceiling. An intense magical war breaks out in the building as the adversary fights back. They appear to have equal skill and might as they trade blows. An antique urn opens and draws Horvath and Balthazar into it as he attempts to grab a Grimhold that Dave is carrying. Dave throws the Grimhold into the street and leaves the building right away. Inside the building, he reconnects with his teacher and friends and engages in a pointless conversation about magic battles and sorcerers. When the teacher enters the store, nothing is there. Even if he tries to explain that it's because of a broken water jar, his pals still make fun of him when they witness him wetting his pants. After 10 years, Dave is now an adult and resides with his friend Bennett. As it happens, he still carries that dragon ring. He currently attends New York University to study physics. Since they were 10 years old, he eventually runs into Becky again there. He converses with her, but the woman still recalls his foolish behavior at the Arcana Cabana. Becky tells Dave that she now works at the college radio station after class. The station antenna suddenly gets struck by lightning, volunteers to help and fixes everything, because he is a physics nerd. After being greatly impressed, Becky leaves. He hears Becky's song on the radio in his own private lab in a basement, and he tries to mimic the rhythms of the song using noises produced by lightning bolts. Horvath escapes as the Grimhold that holds Balthazar and Horvath in place erupts. He tosses it out the window right away. Fortunately, Balthazar is able to get away from it before it hits the earth. When Dave gets home, Horvath asks him where the Grimhold from 10 years ago is. He instantly flees after acknowledging that he threw it to the street. Horvath calls forth a pack of wolves, who then pursue Dave. The moment the wolves attack him, they transform into adorable pups. Shortly after, Balthazar shows up with a huge metal eagle and saves Dave before the train strikes him. Moreover, Horvath survives. Horvath intends to free his fellow Morganians and enslave humanity. Balthazar reveals on a building's roof. Dave has a normal life and begs the sorcerer to keep him out of his issues. After realizing that the ring is still in his possession, Balthazar commands him to assist him in recovering the Grimhold. He assures Dave that once he locates the vase he can leave. They find it, which is kept in Chinatown, by using Balthazar's ability to trace a Grimhold. Balthazar enters the house while Dave waits outside. He encounters Horvath upstairs, who poses as an elderly Chinese woman and uses a magic spell to assault him. He does, however, succeed in freeing Sunlock, one of the Morganians who is knocked off the building by Balthazar. Dave is pursued by a real dragon that Sunlock turns from a fake one using his belt. Dave struggles to cast the magic at first, but he eventually throws a fireball in time, and they vanquish Sunlock. In the meantime, Balthazar recovers the Grimhold and restrains Horvath. Being a man of his word, Balthazar asks Dave to give him back the ring because he has aided him. However, Dave decides against it and asks the sorcerer to train him instead. He transforms Dave into a sorcerer, while concealing the Grimhold in his personal laboratory. When Dave enters Merlin's inner circle, he formally becomes Balthazar's apprentice. He shows him how to cast a plasma bolt at the start of the training, explaining that all sorcerers must have the ring in order to cast a magic spell, or else they will be helpless. Additionally, Dave gains the ability to manipulate and produce lightning bolts. Horvath begins to assemble the soldiers on the opposite side. He goes to see Drake Stone, the last surviving Morganian, and requests his assistance. Dave decides to approach Becky when they are eating dinner outside her radio station, leaving the elderly guy alone. The two descend into the subway station, where Becky is robbed by a robber. He follows him and foolishly knocks him out with his magic. Becky is impressed when he brings her belongings back because Dave is frail and the thief is much larger than him. The girl accepts his invitation to study physics with him at his lab. When Becky shows up at the lab the following day, he introduces Balthazar as his uncle. The girl is surprised when Dave uses his Tesla coils to produce a cool musical presentation there, because it's the same music she had previously heard on the radio. The following day, Drake attacks Dave after confronting him in the university restroom. Horvath shows up shortly after and threatens to murder him. He insists on knowing the Grimhold's whereabouts, but luckily Balthazar arrives just in time. He captures Horvath within the bathroom mirror after knocking Drake unconscious. Back at the lab, Balthazar reveals that Morgana, who seeks to take control of the planet by raising the dead, is actually held captive in the Grimhold. Additionally, he discloses that he is a prime Millennian, meaning that he may use magic without a ring. He tries to tidy up the lab because he knows Becky will be there shortly, but he becomes frustrated by the clutter. He chooses to use the cleaning magic to make the mops and brooms come to life while he takes a shower. But when he gets back, the lab is in much worse shape, with the floor flooded by the auto-cleaning brooms. When Becky shows up to the lab, he has to tell her to go. Balthazar arrives and, with a single wave of his hand, cleans up all the debris as Dave is overwhelmed and nearly electrocuted by his own lab apparatus. Balthazar chastises him and warns him against misusing the holy art of magic. They quarrel with each other. After complaining that he picked the wrong person to be a prime Millennian, Dave finally quits up because he is tired of all the demands that Balthazar makes. Then he leaves the laboratory. In the meantime, Horvath locates Dave's secret lab room and acquires his academic records. After noticing Becky spending time with her pals, Dave departs. After spotting him, Becky follows him covertly to the Chrysler building's roof, where she attempts to make amends for the disastrous date that was caused by the brooms earlier. She tells him that the amount of work he has put forth has impressed her. Drake, posing as Dave, attacks Balthazar at the laboratory. Morgana's invisible Grimhold is discovered by Horvath, who comes when he is confined. Additionally, he discloses that he betrayed Merlin due to heartbreak. After being best friends for a while, Veronica decided to choose Balthazar above him as her lover. Horvath throws a pair of knives at him as he manages to free himself. Fortunately, Dave shows in and stops the knives from going any farther. Dave and Balthazar follow the traitor and Drake as they flee. Then comes the car chase with the mysteriously changing cars. Horvath traps them in a mirror to exact his retribution. Following that, because Dave is still unable to use any spells without his ring, Balthazar chooses to pursue Horvath by himself. After Dave tells his sweetheart everything, she wants to become involved in the sorcerer's company. In order to put Tesla coils on Balthazar's automobile, Dave phones his roommate, who assists him. Along with the necklace, he discovers a note instructing him to give it to Veronica once this is all done. Horvath intends to release Morgana at Battery Park, so the three of them immediately go there. Morgana reawakens while still in Veronica's body and forms a large circle to begin the ritual of raising the dead. In order to interfere with the awakening ceremony, Dave stops and instructs Becky to shift the antenna atop the structure. Balthazar returns to the park and enters covertly, but Horvath spots him. While Morgana gradually brings the Morganian back to life all around the planet, he battles his erstwhile best buddy. Fortunately, Dave shows up and uses the automobile to attack Horvath as the Steel Eagle snatches the enormous steel ball he summoned to attack Balthazar. Becky moves the antenna just before Morgana completes her circle, ending the ceremony and rendering Morgana unconscious. Veronica is set free as Balthazar takes Morgana's spirit from her body. He then tells Dave to trap him in the Grimhold, but Veronica doesn't comply. After exiting the body, Morgana eventually stands with her own body. Without the ring's assistance, Dave finally blocks the fire blast she hurls at the group. Morgana's plasma bolts inflict harm on Balthazar as he attempts to shield Veronica. Dave's understanding of physics allows him to use high-voltage thunderbolts to target the evil sorceress, and then mercilessly strike her with plasma bolts to defeat her. After attempting to save Veronica, Balthazar dies. Dave uses his magic spell to bring him back to life. Then when they share their first kiss, Becky eventually confesses that she accepted him as his boyfriend, as stated in the note he gave her 12 years prior. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to see more videos like this one, enable notifications, and like the channel.